we come across a lot of toxic people. These people can be found in our place of work, in our schools, and even among our family members. And how to handle them can be a major issue. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Catholic Faith Forum. I'm your host, Staphenie, and today we'll be talking on the topic, how to handle toxic family members. Joining me today is an awesome and special guest. So don't go anywhere, because right after this break, we'll be meeting her. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. This is Catholic Faith Forum. I'm your host, Staphenie. So today we'll be talking on the topic, how to handle toxic family members. And joining me today is a very special guest. And her name is Mrs Rose Okeregbe. Welcome, Mrs Rose.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you on the show.
Thank
you
for
and you're looking
having me.
stunning, I have to say. I love the red.
Thank you.
I could just bring out everything, you know, plus the bead.
Thank you, Stephanie.
It's good to have you on the show. All right, guys. So Miss Rose is a professional counselor who specializes in relationships, marriage, and family counseling. Thank you once again for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
How would you define a toxic person?
A toxic person.
Yeah.
When you hear the word toxic, it is poison related. Poison related. What does poison do exactly? When you think of poison or when you ingest poison in error, what does it do?
It kills you.
It kills you. Thank you. A toxic
Kills you.
person could kill if you don't know how to handle them.
Honestly.
It's that bad. Poison could cause hemorrhage. You could bleed. You deal with some people and after the conversation, it's like you're bleeding inwards.
Seriously.
That's a toxic person. The negativity around the conversation is so intense. It clouds your senses. By the time you leave them, it's like you're swaying a bit physically and you're like, what was that? And it's a bit different from a one-off difficult person. That's one-off difficult situation where somebody is having a bad day and just takes it out on maybe a loved one. But toxic people is reoccurring.
Honestly.
It's reoccurring. Whenever you meet them, you can practically taste bile,
In them.
bitterness on your tongue.
Honestly. So
That's
what
what it
signs
is.
do we now say that this person is toxic? You know, most times we look at the way they talk. Most times from the way they talk, how they talk to you. But what other signs can we also say that this person is actually a toxic person?
There are, I would say, different kinds of toxic people. But I would like to say here that where violence is involved, please, no stories. Sever the relationship immediately. So there are
Severe,
several,
like
you just end it.
Okay.
Just where there's violence. So, but there are other ways. Some people belittle you. They call them belittlers. They belittle you. That's a kind of, I'm talking of different types of toxicity you could find in people. Some use you. Whenever you deal with them, after the deal, you just feel used. Then some, they make you, they call it, they make you feel guilty. They make you feel guilty. They just sound accusing. Whatever happens in that environment, you caused it. It can't be them.
Honestly, can't be them.
It can't be them.
This is sounding like my parents. I won't lie. It's not them, it's the kids.
Okay.
Serious.
All right. So for parents, okay. All right. We'll still talk more on that. So
Honestly.
we'll talk about your parents then.
All right, so now let's now move to family members. I said earlier, most of these toxic people can also be family members. So how do we now handle it if they are our family members?
Very good question. It's easy to handle toxic people when it's just a one-off, somebody you meet maybe at work, one-off customer, somebody you meet on your way, your bus ride to work. It's easier to handle such people. You just space them. But when it's family, you and I know.
Like you're living under their roof.
It's no joke. It's no joke. If it's your mom that is toxic, it could be your dad, it could be an elder sister. And the thing about the toxic family members, it takes a while for you to know that this is actually wrong. If you have a parent that has always bullied you from childhood, in fact, you've been formed within the toxic space,
Exactly.
so to speak.
You don't even know if it's even toxicity. It's just like...
Exactly. So it's a grace to even identify it, to identify that, oh, you know what, I need to break free of this. So how do you handle it? The key word here is boundary.
Boundary.
Boundaries, yes. You must set boundaries. I'm coming there, right there. You know, but before you can even go to the set of boundaries, you have to know what you are setting up. What you're setting up. You might need a professional to help you, maybe a wiser person in that knows about that, because an outsider might even be watching a relationship between a mother and a daughter and can sense that this is toxic. But the daughter doesn't even know, because she doesn't know any other kind of loving.
Honestly.
We have people out there in the world looking for love. Some of them don't even know what love is because of these kind of families they grew up in. So it's sad. So for family members, first of all, you need a professional. You need someone to point this out to you, someone you can trust to tell you, you know what, this is not right.
This is not right.
I've had young people talk to me in my counseling room, and they mentioned some very terrible things, loved ones in quotes. Oh, why did you do it? My mom asked me to do it.
Are you
and
serious?
That's it, yes. Because my mom asked me to do it. So where mom is toxic, what do? You must, you seek help. If you are still young, okay.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm sure you're enjoying the topic so far. Let's go on a quick break and find out who the saint of this week is. Stay tuned.
Our saint of this week is St. Agnes of Montepulciano. St. Agnes of Montepulciano may be best known for an incident that occurred many years after her death. About 70 years after Agnes died, St. Catherine of Siena made a pilgrimage to the shrine of this revered Dominican foundress. St. Catherine bowed to kiss Agnes's foot. The saint raised it up towards her. Catherine may not have been totally surprised, as miraculous characteristics had surrounded Agnes's life. This little lamb was born not far from Montepulciano in 1268. She expressed a desire to give her life to God and practiced pious exercises from an early age. Now and then, her parents gave in to her requests to visit the various convents in town. On one such occasion, Agnes and her mother were passing a house of ill repute when a flock of crows suddenly descended upon her, pecking and scratching the little girl. Her mother remarked that the crows represented demonic forces threatened by her purity. Indeed, years later, Agnes would be asked to found a convent on that very spot. In her teens, Agnes joined the Franciscans in Montepulciano and rose to become its prioress. Small white flakes in the form of crosses fell gently from the heavens in celebration. It is said that the sisters have preserved some of this until today. In 1306, God inspired Agnes to found a Dominican convent with 3 stones given her by the Blessed Mother in honor of the Trinity. The Blessed Mother had visited Agnes many times. On one of these occasions, she allowed Agnes to hold the Christ child, but Agnes showed great reluctance in giving him back. Toward the end of her life, Agnes sought healing from some famous springs. Although she did not receive healing herself, her prayers effected the resurrection of a child who had drowned in the springs. In 1317, Agnes died in Montepulciano and received her long-awaited reward. Her feast day is April 20th. St. Agnes of Montepulciano, pray for us.
Welcome back, guys. This is Catholic Faith Forum. If you're just joining us, we're still discussing the topic, how to handle toxic family members. So, Ms. Rose, we're talking about how to handle toxic relationships, especially with mothers. So you were giving us a story earlier. So, if you may.
Oh, okay. Like when a young person tells you, when you're talking with them in counseling, something really grievous, like maybe it has to do something moral or something. Why did you do it? And she's like, my mom asked me. That's the kind of power parents have over their children. So even when the relationship is toxic, my mom said, my dad said, that's enough. So if it's for a younger person, the younger person will probably need professional help or the help of another responsible adult that understands what is going on and has to help that young person break free.
What if they don't see? It's not easy to see who exactly to talk to. Most times as young people, we tend to go to, if I'm having issues with my mom, I'll probably go to my aunt. So what if an aunt is not there? Probably they're not there. Who else can I go to? And I don't know any counselor. So who do we go to then?
You know, there are different, what's it called? What they call it, of socialization. What's it called? Instruments of socialization in the society. There are different ones. If the home is not working, the religious affiliation can work.
True. Can go to a priest, a pastor.
It can work. Can go to an imam. Can go to a priest, a pastor. You can talk to someone in church. I tell young people usually, keep talking to someone till you hear what is right. Because from school, from the sermons we hear in church, you have an idea of what is right. You have an idea of what is right. That's why you see some children at a particular age. I have a friend at 9. She just told her parents that, no, I don't like the life both of you are living. She broke free. Yes.
And her parents did not kill her?
They'll beat her. You know, some children, when they are set to go, they are set to go. If you like, beat and suppress, it's time, it's time. She broke free. Her story is just, so I always tell young people when I give talks. So bottom line, the child would need help if he's a young person. But if he's an adult, there are some people that this toxic relationship continues even into adulthood between siblings. It might just be that elder sister that you see that is so precious to you. She has always helped you. That's where it's confusing with toxic family members. They've always helped you somehow. Maybe when you needed some kind of money.
Exactly.
They were there.
Throughout your life when you were sick.
But the way they talk to you, they don't talk to any other person like that. They just belittle you. They just do all kinds of things to you in the name of help. In the name of help. So what do? You can set up boundaries. Assuming you've left home, maybe you're married, your sister is, whenever she talks to you on phone, she just shouts down you. So you can actually set up boundaries, then you limit contacts.
Limit contact. Then
you must address it. Don't keep keeping quiet out of respect or, no. Bullying is not respect. It's not. That's toxic. So you have to raise it. You have to brace it and raise it. She would even be shocked. Like an animal that has been caged for so long. When the door is even open of the cage, they can't come out because they're so used to being in that cage. So now you have left, you're separated as siblings, but she still bullies you from her corner, shouts on you in front of your children. You must draw the line and you must raise that conversation.
I understand.
In cases where it has happened, most of the time, the people that have been toxic are usually speechless. That, this one rose from the dead eventually.
Honestly.
So it is what it is.
Thank you.
You must address it. You must create boundaries. When I say boundaries, you not just physical boundaries. There's something I do personally. You can create mental boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yes. If I deal with you, office, anywhere, I just see that you're that person that shouts all the time. You are not just reasonable. And for that moment in time, I can't do without you. Maybe we have to work on a project together. I put you in a compartment in my mind, and I write abnormal on the compartment. So whatever you do, it's with love. Whatever you do,
just remove it. Doesn't affect you.
It doesn't affect me. I start treating you like a child. I'm like, this one needs help. So that's it. Mental spacing, limit contact, and you must create boundaries.
Create boundaries.
To be a happier person.
That's very interesting. So now, we know some people have actually grown up in toxic families, within toxic families, and now they've gotten, well, I say they've gotten that trait. So now they themselves, to an extent, they don't know that even they themselves, they've started becoming toxic. So how can one avoid being a toxic person or a toxic family member?
Yes, a toxic family member. Like they say, people that hurt people are usually hurting people. People that bully people are people that were bullied.
That is very true.
It's just a pathetic circle. It is. So how do you I strongly recommend building your emotional intelligence. For everyone, I had to take lessons in emotional intelligence at a point in my life, and I started dealing with the public so much. Man is a social being, and you would certainly interact. And you are coming from your own corner. It's a corner. No matter how big you are, it's a corner you're coming from. Others are coming from their own corners with their different life experiences, with their genes crying out there, personality types and all kinds of things. So you can't judge everybody just with this on the same scale. You can't do that. So emotional intelligence helps you to perceive the emotions of people. You become aware of your own emotions, manage them.
Yeah.
I know, usually, after I took class in emotional intelligence, I usually talk to myself. I was like, Rose, you're overreacting. No, they did. I just start having conversations that they didn't mean it like that. Just stop. You know, so you are so aware of yourself, you can tell yourself, stop. I'm not reacting like that. So by the time you can do that with yourself, you'll be able to perceive the emotions of others, and you can't treat them badly. Build your emotional intelligence. That's
Seriously.
it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's meet the Know Your Faith crew and find out what they have for us. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Know Your Faith series. I am Elefachi, and today we'll be looking at 5 roles of baptismal godparents. According to the canon law, it's the duty and privilege of Catholic parents to pass on the gift of faith to their newly baptized child. And it's also the duty of the godparents to assist the parents in this important task. These godparents, as the Catechism of the Catholic Church states, must be firm believers in the Catholic faith. If you are a godparent or you intend to be one, here are 5 duties you ought to fulfill. Number 1, readiness to help. According to the Catechism, godparents must be able and ready to help the newly baptized on the road of the Christian life. This means that you should joyfully embrace the role and be available to have regular contact with the child. Number 2, journey with the baptized. Godparents assist parents by journeying with the child throughout life. This is why, as a godparent, you must be practicing Catholics. Number 3, positive support system. It's also the duty of godparents to be a positive and present support system for the child throughout life. When the child has people around them who hold them accountable, they are less likely to be misled. Number 4, positive role models. Godparents should be positive role models to the child because they are basically an extension of the child's family and they have influence over the child. Number 5, prayer and teaching. Most importantly, godparents should pray with their godchild, teach them about the church, offer spiritual support, do good works, and extend spiritual kindness to their godchild. So guys, that's all for today's episode. Are you a godparent or an intending one? Tell us some of the things you do for your godchild in the comment section. Till I come your way next time, be bold, be Catholic. Bye.
Thank you so much, Know Your Faith crew, for that amazing topic. It was really, really interesting. Thank you, Ms. Rose, for joining us today. So do you have any last advice to give to young people that are going through, toxic relationships with family members? So what last things do you have to say to them?
All right.
Just few words.
If you are going through, you feel it's a toxic situation, tell you after listening to us, break free. It's time to break free. There is no person that is indispensable. Don't get that lie out of your head that there's a particular person that is like oxygen to your life. If they are toxic, break it.
Break free.
Tell
them to their face. You know
Please
what?
break free. Break up the root. Some people
leaving.
stay in such relationships for like 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. It's bad.
For your health, for your sake.
For your health, for your sake.
Just break free.
Break free.
Life is precious.
Today, seek help.
Seek help. There are counselors.
Yes.
They're everywhere, even in churches.
Everywhere. Yes, thank
everywhere.
you. Staphenie, that's great.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Rose, for joining us. I am really, really sure. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
Hope to see you again.
Oh, You bet.
Honestly. All right, guys, we've come to the end of today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed it. If you have questions, comments, or even contrary opinions, feel free to drop them in the comments section. Subscribe to us if you're not yet subscribed, and follow us on our social media page at CFF on TV. And until next time, guys, keep being saints in jeans and shirts. Goodbye.